Walked through some beautiful groves of these manzanita trees this morning, right near Warner Springs, California. Hi there, it's Wednesday, October 26th, day 99. I've got this, style doesn't count out here for anything. But anyhow, I've got extra insulation layer on top today. It's cold as heck out. Didn't feel too bad overnight. I slept great actually. But the coldest temps, they always say, are right in the morning. And yeah, I woke up to a balmy 33 degrees according to my thermometer. And sometimes it just depends what morning it is. Sometimes it feels colder than other mornings. So my nose is all red this morning. I don't know why. It's kind of getting me this morning, but kind of layered up. The one thing I will refuse to do though is wear any form of legging if I can avoid it in the morning. I will wear those rain pants sometimes, but I still hate having to take them off within an hour or two once I get hot. I did hike till 10:45. Got a little over 39 miles in, so still a good day. As I talked about yesterday, trying not to get too antsy, do anything stupid. A lot of hikers try to do a big day at some point. I just don't know that makes sense for me, because a lot of times they'll do a big day after a rest day and then maybe take a rest day after the big day. Which, does the big day really amount to any efficient gains then? I don't know. So I think if I did a big day at this point, I might be shot. These like mid 30 days are becoming like normalized for me. They're still hard. I have to hike a long time and we have much less daylight. So you do lose your motivation to keep hiking in the dark after a while, and it becomes a pain in the butt. Like, for me to hike all night, I would have to take a break, which gets cold. And then when you stop in the cold, it's so difficult to start again. That was my experience when I tried to hitch out of Anza a couple nights ago and just lost all motivation to hike when I stood there for 2 hours and didn't get a hitch. So yeah, anyhow, I say that because I think a lot of times when you have warm weather, it can be easier to keep going. But the combined elements of coldness and darkness are really making it hard to hike these long days psychologically. I'm still hiking well into the dark, but I don't know if I can muster 15 to 18 hours of hiking to get like a 50-mile day in. So I really actually am still enjoying each day of hiking. Hiking for the sake of hiking, it's something I truly do enjoy. Just managing my body throughout the day in order to be able to achieve my daily goals is really satisfying. So anyhow, I'm gonna try to make a Julian today. So this is where the trail intersects with the community of Warner Springs. On a normal day, under normal circumstances, I would walk a mile down this road or try to hitch. There's a gas station and get some food, but my goal is to make it a Julian tonight. It's like 35 miles, and I'd rather get there earlier and get dinner than walk 2 extra miles down the road in the cold. So I'm going to keep going. I've got plenty of food to get to Julian. Hopefully it warms up soon. The desert kind of plays a psychological game with you. You think it's going to be warmer. I know, like Evan, for instance, sent some of his warm stuff home. I would have, but I just didn't have a great opportunity to. And now I'm glad that that just worked out circumstantially, because I have needed it. This area kind of reminds me of, well, not what reminds me, but makes me imagine this is what strolling through the English countryside might be like. This is like a shared cattle path as well. There goes the deer. Just spooked it. But yeah, really, the desert presents so much more diversity than I ever would have imagined. Here's a welcome sight. It seems like it's been hundreds of miles, probably actually since Northern California, since I've seen cattle out grazing on pasture. It's always such a beautiful scene here in California. The mountains, at least along the trail corridor, are ever present. It seems like there has not been a place in California where you don't have a mountain view. It's really pretty special. So this is probably the most photographed rock formation on trail. You can probably guess what it might be called. It's a Eagle Rock. So it does have a very uncanny resemblance. It's pretty big, probably about 15, 20 feet high. It's slapped right in the middle of this really pretty valley with cattle grazing all around. I think they're scared of me. Nifty little plumbing feature at this spring head. So I just checked my app and I crossed mile 2553.6, which seems pretty irrelevant unless I said it in context, but that means I have now under 100 miles left. So, like I was talking about a couple days ago, you know, that's a big one. It might, I mean, technically it is kind of arbitrary, but I'm telling you, this last week has actually been hard mentally, with the end being so close, yet it's just the nature of hiking. I mean, every mile is something, you know. No mile is easy. So these numbers, they mean something to me mentally. They're a motivator, but they can also be a little dangerous to get caught up on. But nonetheless, 100 miles. Very excited. As I've been saying for a couple days now, that's still a long ways, but it's just getting brighter and brighter. The light at the end. I don't want to say light at the end of the tunnel. That's a bad metaphor for this hike. Finish line. So excited for that. Down into the double digits now. Wow. Quite the stash. Thanks again to the Trail Angels. Amazing how organized this is. They must literally bring all that water in on pallets. I don't know. You can tell people come in and check on it. It's awesome. probably of all the terrain on the trail, of course, Pennsylvania, it's all been amazing and so very, very different than what I'm used to, but the desert terrain is so wildly different and foreign. I love all the little cacti, all the succulents. It's very, very strange to me. And it is actually kind of mesmerizing. So I made it to the highway, 35.5 miles today. And it was starting to get dark, and I was waiting for a hitch, and I got lucky. Right before it got dark, I got picked up by a local park ranger, actually, who was just off the clock. He got me to Julian. It's almost hopeless to stand around and try to hitch after dark, so I'm gonna accept the good fortune and just enjoy myself here tonight. I got some great food, great looking food, half chicken, some mac and cheese, and a pizza to go, and a hard kombucha waiting for me at the table here. It's a really cool place in Julian, though. Seems like a really sweet town. I wish I had more time to spend here. I'll at least grab some breakfast before I leave tomorrow. You're looking at my go-to right here for restoring and correcting a calorie deficiency. So Ben & Jerry's is expensive, but I freaking love this stuff. And each one of these pints is typically like 1,200 calories. So every time I'm in town with the opportunity, how's one of these? Saying bye to this lovely little town already. I did get a matcha at the coffee shop right down the way here before leaving. So I'll have something warm to drink while I'm standing waiting for a hopeful ride back to the trail. The Julian Lodge also had a very cute black and white cat named Paul's, who I got to pet last night this morning for a little bit of pet therapy. I would have taken some a little video clip of him, but it's kind of busy in there this morning, so I didn't want to be rude. Hello, so as I mentioned earlier, it's day 100, which originally was the day I'd hoped to finish, but I'm pretty happy with how things are going. It'll probably be 102 days at this point, probably finish on Saturday morning. That's fine with me. I still feel like I've been working hard out here. Did not get back on a trail until later than I'd hoped. So hitching is one of those things on trail that you really just don't have any control over. It's luck of the draw. Definitely a variable that can change things. So it took me over 2 hours of hitching until I got someone to give me a ride back to trail this morning. Tried different spots, but I guess the silver lining was that an older gentleman, super nice guy, actually ended up picking me up. He's been a lifelong helper, hiker, and likes to help hikers. He also sadly, I think he let me know that he has cancer. And I don't think he has a lot of family, so it seemed like he's a little lonely. Really enjoyed the car ride and talking to me, and he even offered to come and pick me or Evan and I up from the border in Campo and take us wherever we need to be. So San Diego. He says he's actually done it for a couple other hikers before, and he just enjoys helping us out. He's retired, and he doesn't really have any set plans or anything like that, so he's free to help us out. So that's really cool, incredibly kind of him. It's kind of things you run into out here on trail. It's people showing just genuine good-heartedness. But anyhow, not getting back on trail till like 10:30. It's really gonna make this a tough day. Means that I'm probably gonna be hiking till like 10 p.m. again to meet up with Evan tonight at Mount Laguna. So I'll give it hell today. There's not much water today. There's literally one source, so it's coming up probably in less than 6 or 7 miles, and then it's over a 20-mile water carry to Mount Laguna to the next water. So, like I've said before, even though the end is near, it's not like it's getting significantly easier. The desert did receive some apparently big rainstorms in the past couple weeks, and it's really come alive with a lot of color actually. A lot of really nice desert flowers are out right now. So I'm quite happy this spigot's here, but what better way to celebrate the last couple days of trail than with the longest water carry of the entire trail. So it's about 25 miles. That'll be a good one. I think I'll be hiking a good portion of it after sunset, so that at least will help. And it's not terribly hot today, although it is cloudless, so it does feel warm in the sun. But probably carry maybe 3 liters to be safe. And should be all right. Hydrate now and we'll be good to go. Another day, another bit of night hiking ahead, but I've actually come to enjoy it a little bit. It's much cooler. I do got to layer up a little bit, but it's a little bit quieter at night too, even. Here in our rustic little cabin room that we got to last night. We're syncing up for the final time here. Evan and I got in last night around 10:30. Power went out this morning, so we didn't get to get breakfast like we had hoped at the little local restaurant, but we got some gas station food for breakfast. That was pretty good. We have like 40 miles left to go or so. 41 miles to the border. Super excited. We don't have to hitch anymore. This is remnants of a difficult, desperate attempt to hitch yesterday, where it took me like 2.5 hours or so to get a ride back to the trail. So yes, all these little nitty-gritty things about hiking are starting to come to a close. No more hitching. We'll be back to the real world before we know it. Riding vehicle and in a city. It's going to be quite the change. So we're here in Mount Laguna at 6,000 feet. Our last motel stay, which there have been quite a few of in recent times. But we've got one more place to get a meal at today, Lake Marina. Probably camp tonight and then hit the border early tomorrow afternoon. So I hiked into Mount Laguna last night after dark, but oddly enough, even though we're in the southernmost part of California, this area kind of reminds me of Pennsylvania more than any other so far. In fact, this area really reminds me of Pine Grove Furnace. There's kind of a mix of pines and oaks. It's like a blended forest, just like on the East Coast. So it's Friday, October 28th, day 101. Evan and I are back on trail together again for the last stretch here. We left Mount Laguna this morning. Met up last night. Stayed in the lodge at Mount Laguna at 6,000 feet. That was our last big climb of the trip, and we're starting our descent now. We have about 40 miles left, so we're splitting it up over 2 days, and we should be finishing midday tomorrow. So pumped to be finishing together. We're continuing our finishing style with another opportunity for a meal this afternoon at Lake Morena. So we should get there for dinner. We hear they have good burgers, good sandwiches. Then we'll hike out, spend one last night in our tents, set up for one last time, and it's going to be back to reality here shortly. So I just booked my flight home for Halloween this morning. It's all going to start hitting us here very quickly. It already has to some degree, but once we tag the border and hop in a car and head to San Diego and get on an airplane, things are going to be a little bit different, and certainly hitting home a little bit differently. So excited for the last 2 days on trail here. It's been an amazing journey. It's put a lot of things in perspective, and have a lot of reflection to do still. But just going to try to stay in the moment for the last 2 days, like I've been talking about here, and enjoy the last bit of hiking. Reminds me of Dolly Sads. Let's not get blown up. There's been a million of these gates in Southern California, and the funny part about them is, like, honestly, probably 1 in 5 actually do their job. Like, what's this blocking? I think they're just the remnant from days when they grazed a lot more cattle in these areas, in these canyons. So this is the last major interstate that we're gonna go under past I-8. I don't know how far it runs east, but I do know that it goes to San Diego from here, and then I think it goes to Tucson. It's like the first major city east of here. Leaving Lake Morena after some great burgers and milkshakes at the malt shop. So we are well fed. We're gonna do a couple miles out of town. Set up. It's not as cold here as it has been in some of the previous places I've camped over the past couple weeks. So happy for that. But yeah. This will leave us with less than 20 miles to go to the border tomorrow, which I'm extremely happy about. Setting up camp here for the last time on trail. Some distant lights still from Lake Morena. It's a little tight here tonight. Our 2 little tents are just smushed into this spot, but it is pleasantly warm out. I'm quite excited about, which means it probably will be pretty nice temp when we wake up and start in the morning. Probably gonna get started around 6 o'clock. Try to get to the Terminus around noon or so. And Evan's aunt and cousin, I believe, are gonna try to meet us as close to the border as possible. That'll be awesome. Pretty excited. We almost became last second cheaters and ditched on tenting and spent the night in a cabin again, but Nah, we decided that it would be a good idea to finish our last day properly intense. So, yep, this is it. Hello, it's day 102, October 29th. Last day on trail. It's a good day. Evan and I started just after 6 a.m. this morning with 17.9 miles to go. We made a big descent and we're about 2/3 of the way done with our last big climb of the entire hike. So plan on probably hitting the border shortly after lunch today, and couldn't be more excited. Couldn't have had a better experience so far. So there's a lot to look back on, a lot of retrospection to be had. So this isn't really the time for reflection yet, but just happy to be out here for one last day. So we can actually see the border wall from here, running right up there on that ridge. In my mind, I envisioned it just being flat, desert-like almost, with a wall running across it, but it's right up on a mountain ridge above Campo. We're gonna climb up there after we go through town. It's certainly not flat. It's pretty mountainous here, actually. There's a train with passenger cars going here. Southern Pacific Railroad. Evan and I would just say it'd be awesome to be riding a train home, but we don't have quite that much time. The most encouraging sign yet. That is a pretty weighted proportion. Hello, Campo. Just arrived in Campo, which is only 1.5 miles from the border. The nice thing is, there's a convenience store like a 1/3 mile down the road here, and Evan's aunt isn't coming to pick us up for like over 2 hours, which means we have over an hour for lunch today. I was just telling Evan, I literally can't remember the last time we took an hour for lunch. Probably the whole way back in Northern California when we were hiking with some others. The other funny thing about Campo is we don't plan on taking advantage, but there's a hiker I was hanging out with a little bit a couple days ago around San Jacinto, and he said, you know, the best thing about the PCT is that it's the only long distance trail I know that has a liquor store within 2 miles of the terminus. So that's not part of our plans, but I think a lot of people, especially those going south, quite like that fact. One last trail lunch here. Fortunate to have the town right before the border. Then 1.5 miles to go this afternoon, and we're out. 1 mile left. What a number. What a singular number. That's exciting. So we're less than 1 mile from the border, and Evan and I both really had to eat. So there happens to be this equestrian facility here, which I think is being used this weekend for some dirt bike races or something, and a set of bathrooms right here. So let me tell you, the trail delivers. It seems like when you need something out here, like for instance, we really need to use the restroom, and it would have literally taken away from our enjoyment of getting to the terminus. They so happen to be here. That's a takeaway. We got lucky, so now we can enjoy our moment at the border. We're getting very close now. Walking right along the border wall. You can see the top of the monument above. There could not be a greater contrast between this terminus and the northern terminus. I remember how it's done. It's been so long and I don't know if I can. I used to kind of like. Wait. How? Shit. Gotta get the groove back. Wait. Ah! I don't have enough hip space. Ah!
Keep going a little bit. Almost there.
That's all I got. Our buddy Rudy here is the last one to have finished. He finished just yesterday. We were really hoping to catch up with him and see him again. We haven't seen him since Oregon. But the funny thing is, he told us back in Oregon his sister's wedding is November 1st, which is why he picked up the pace and went ahead of some of his friends back then. But he's cutting it close, old Rudy. But glad to see he finished. Well, that's a wrap, y'all. You like the spot they have here for the Terminus? Right behind this handsome wall. They at least angled it so that when you take your pictures, you can frame it without the wall in the background, I believe.
So I thought, and I stuck my hand through. I said, look, I'm in Mexico. I would say 20 seconds later, I had a Border Patrol guy in